How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome, feeling fantastic about starting this new project with you. We've been waiting for this podcast for a long time, thinking about it, idealizing it, trying to make it the best we can. So I'm happy to be here.
Definitely. I'm so happy to be here and so happy that you're joining me and so happy to co create this with you. This has been something that we've both been thinking about for quite a while, and I'm really excited to share part of us with the audience and hope that we can be beneficial and inspire to
Definitely.
share about our homes and how we can help others with theirs.
Definitely. I think as two people who know each other for a long time, we have a lot to share with the audience, and maybe we can and they can connect and relate to what we're talking about. So, from our talks, I can tell the audience that they are up to listen to some good, interesting conversation between us all. I see me and you, but also the audience will be taking part on this podcast. And we hope to have a lot of interaction, a lot of questions. And I'm just very excited to start this podcast today.
I am as well. And you and I will always have amazing conversations. I know at some point would love to have some guests join us on the podcast and share some experiences about their lives and about their homes. The Your Happy Home podcast is really about life in where your life happens, where it unfolds, and it's like the center of the bicycle wheel. All the spokes come together in the home. Your work life, your relationships, your fun, your memories, everything really happens in a home or around a home. And so I'm very excited to share that.
Definitely. I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to share our perspectives about life, about lifestyle, about family, about, um, you know, all the little teams or amazing teams that come with family and building the life that you want for yourself. And the whole thing about going from where you are to where you want to be is talking about it, trying to manifest it with your friends. You know, try to dive into the subjects that you want to achieve and learn with people you trust. And that's what we're going to try to do here.
I certainly trust you and think so much of your opinions and
Thank
how
you.
you are such a wonderful mom. And if you would share a little bit about yourself, your family,
Of
and
course.
where you're located.
Yeah, with pleasure. So, my name is Erica Raminger. I come from Brazil. I'm the daughter of a Brazilian woman with a German man, so I'm a mix. The daughter of the globalization, if you might say so. And I've traveled a lot throughout my young days, and I also I'm doing a doctorship right now in international relations with focus on marketing, and it's a great experience for me to share my points of views, not just in an academic way but also as a mom. I have two toddlers, Mahina and Gao. Mahina is 5 years old and Gao is 2. And I think I got a lot to share about the kind of motherhood that I chose, and hopefully some mothers and maybe parents in general can identify a little bit. We probably go through the same struggles. I know that most of our audience will be from United States, but I think in this special subject, like being a mom or being a parent is something that goes transnationally, and we have things in common, independently from where we come from. And I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate with some of the situations we're going to share here. And maybe I can come up with solutions and different perspectives that will make everything easy. My point of focus here, Shawn, is to share my experience so that people can feel inspired, and of course, at the same time, I would like to learn from the audience, learn from you, as I've learned before when I shared a situation, like we've been friends for 5 years, and when I first, when I got to know you, I only had Mahina, and she was only a baby. And there were situations I was just sharing with you as a friend, and you came up with a solution. So I'm hoping to be that person for the audience too. Um, Speaking from the point of the experience and what worked, what has not worked, and how we can do better together as a team.
Absolutely, Erica. And you make parenting look really easy. And your
Thank you.
kiddos are just they are little cute little angels. And
Thank
so
you.
you are so such an amazing mom and so lucky to have the beautiful family that you have. And yes, it's hard to believe it's been 5 years since
Oh my God.
we first met and began our friendship and being colleagues. So it's time does go by, and it's going to be a lot of fun sharing stories and just hearing the things that are going on, similarities of the home life in Brazil versus similarities of Texas, where I'm located. And so, yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name's Shawn McDonald, and Erica and I have been friends. And yeah, it's been really, really an amazing experience meeting you, Erica, and knowing you, learning from someone so intelligent. I am very, very lucky.
I could say the
And
same.
thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a really interesting journey, and I think part of your Happy Home podcast is to share what we do every day. You and
Yeah.
I sit down virtually. We're colleagues. We both are in the marketing business. We market and sell real estate. It lets you, Erica, get a happier home life with your kiddos because you can schedule your work. You don't have to fight traffic. There's just so many benefits of that.
Yes, I don't know even how to start talking about the benefits. I think it all began with the pandemics, where we kind of saw this changing in the lifestyle, and also, how do you go to work? How do you keep getting a certain type of income without risking your life during the pandemic times. And that was exactly when I found you. And I think there is a nice lesson coming from all this after we had to work remotely because of the risks of being outside and everything that we were going through at that moment. There was this nice thing coming from that experience, learning how being sometimes working remotely could be something more profitable in a lot of senses, not only for the employer, but also for the employee. I mean, just what you mentioned before, not being in traffic for long hours and spending half of your day in the public transportation. In our case here in Brazil, public transportation plays a nice role. Not everyone will go to work with a car, the mostly because of the traffic. We want to keep it down a little bit. So mostly before meeting you and working remotely, I would spend almost an hour every day to go and 1 hour again to come back home. And 2 precious hours of my day I would spend just doing nothing, waiting to get from work to home and from home to work. So that is the biggest benefit, I think. But speaking from the point of view of being a mom, it is more than a privilege to work from home in a family institution that is eager to get to know my kids, get to know my routine as a parent and respect that in all senses. So I also know that when you work from home, is it is impossible for your colleagues not to get to know your kids, your lifestyle. They get to know you too. Like I never met Shawn in person, you guys, and I feel like I know him for centuries. And my kids, when they see Shawn, they hear his voice, they will come immediately before the computer and say hi in their own way. They're learning English from Shawn just by hearing us talking every day. That would never have happened if I was to go to an office every day, and I would definitely have less quality time with my kids. So that's the main point here. And second thing, like I mentioned before, maybe Shawn would never get to know this side of myself, being a mom, and in numerous times we were working, and then the kids would be back from school, or they had to be home because they were sick or anything like that, or I had to stop and breastfeed. And that's how you humanize what you're doing here. That's how you get close to people you work with. And one of the most important relationships you can have in your life is like being a parent, and at the same time with your colleagues from work, because that's where you spend a great part of the day, talking to your colleagues. And may I call now my friends from work, because that's how I feel about you and Gabby. So I hope I can meet you in person someday, and that's getting close. I think one of the reasons we started this podcast is because we're starting to manifest the life that we want, and we want to share our experience, this amazing experience with the audience. So yeah, be my guest and add anything to it. I know there are a lot more to say.
For sure. One of my favorite things is the virtual hug with Gal. We have a thing where we do a virtual hug, and
Oh
that is
yes,
just
I
so
love that.
wonderful. It'd
That
be
makes me
amazing
want
to
to do every
connect, Erica, with you and your family. Venetius included. It's really great to see what wonderful parents y'all are, and that how wonderful the children are, and the connection that I have with all of you, with the children included. It's just so fun. It's really great to see Mahina and just say, hi, Shawn, hi, Shawn. And I know English is not their native language. So it's really a fun thing to be able to get to know the other person, the colleague, the friend, the coworker, and his or her family. And it really is a gift. And we don't get that. I could be stuck in traffic in heavenly Houston, Texas, for an hour going and an hour coming to an office, just like you, with a little bit different transit situations. But it sure does feel good to have those extra 2 hours back in our lives.
Oh my God, yes. How many things and quality time I can have with my kids uh, within 2 hours. It's just so rich. I have so many things in my head that we could profit from the 2 extra hours of our days. Nowadays, it's like after a while, you feel like, oh, only 24 hours are not enough to be with the kids, get rested, be okay, be on. Because you know what I think, Shawn, we should discuss? The most important thing about motherhood is the notion of being tired, and get to know yourself to the point that even when you're tired, you acknowledge that at this moment that you have to find a way to get the pressure out. And by the time you recognize that and you know yourself that much, you know, me and Vinicius, God, you mentioned him because he's like a central piece in that family, the glue that gets all together here, because we have a partnership before anything else. This partnership is what allows us to have a little bit of a margin to connect with our kiddos and not just raise them. You know what I mean? And so being synchronized and also believing in the same way of parenting is very important. And of course, you will never know that before you're a parent. And that's why I mentioned to everyone I was lucky, but also when you're meeting your future partner and someone you intend to have kids with, try to ask things about raising kids together because that's so very important. You have to think more or less in the same way. The system of beliefs must be the same, because what if Vinicius believed in a violent education and I'm all for non-violent education, you know? So that would be a huge problem for us, because one of the main things in my life, even if I had my career, even if I had a formal education that was very important for me, I knew that there was going to be a time where I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to be the best mom I could for my kids. And so my partner becomes very important in this situation. The person who will go through that path with me will be one of the most important pieces of achieving that kind of motherhood that I idealized. Um, Having a partner that will be active in his tasks as a parent is one of the most important things that allows me to be here today talking to you and expressing my feelings about motherhood. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't even have time to think about those issues because I would be so exhausting raising another human. It's definitely a work for two people to do it together. And that's why I want to say hands up for all the solo moms who do that on their selves. I don't know how you do it, but hopefully God will be with you through this journey. And if you can get help from anyone, please accept help because it's not a work for one person. And so, having said that, having someone who understands the needs of the family, who has a plan that was discussed with you, and you both know how you can create a routine, and routine is very important in this situation, allows you to have free time. And free time is life. Free time is what allows you to be yourself. Even when you're a mom, sometimes you forget to be yourself. And having free time is so important. Having time to rest and just do nothing is very important. And only now I notice how important it is to get to know yourself better and have free time and, relax, just relax and think about what you want to achieve.
Definitely. Communication is so important. When you first started dating and first started, thinking about, expanding the family, you were already speaking to him, just, and knowing
Yes.
what his thoughts were and what his goals were, and the kind of parents that he was going to be. And you're so very lucky with that, and smart to have those conversations beforehand versus, oh wow, here we are, there's no running this clock back, and one person's not as happy as the other.
Exactly, Shawn. I'm 100% with you. And that's not to say that, you can absolutely be certain of how the person is going to behave after they become a parent. But from your previous conversations with your important person, with your loved one, you can kind of tell how much that person is with you in difficult times, because there will be difficult times. And sometimes you will not sleep enough until you get to that routine. I'll share a little story of what happened here in my family. When I became a mom, I studied a lot about labor because that was the most scary thing for me at that moment. Like, I thought all the rest, I'll know what I'm doing when the time comes. So I'll leave that problem for future Erica. um, but labor was something that was very scary on my mind, and that was something that I would like to discuss too in a future opportunity because there's a lot to say. but I studied everything about labor. I became a PhD on labor because I wanted my wills to be respected. I wanted to know what was happening to me and my body and the baby, and education is the best solution in this case. Like, educate yourself. Having kids means that you're going to be a role model to a new human being that just got to the world and they know nothing. They will learn everything from you. So be the kind of person who educate themselves about being a parent, because that's not something that you learn naturally. You have to study, you have to understand about the human brain, and you have to learn that kids, they're not here to fulfill our needs. They are here to learn, and they are here to be loved, and they deserve that because they didn't choose to be here. We chose to be parents. They didn't choose to be here. So it's our responsibility to be patient, to be respectful, and to show them in a very nice way what the rules are, because they will not get here knowing what are the rules. So whenever I had situations with my kids that they would be, for instance, it was time to go to sleep, and of course, they don't know they're tired. They don't know that what they're feeling is just being too tired uh, and getting stressed out from all the tiredness. Um, they don't know the feeling. Sometimes it's the first time you're feeling that, and it's scary. And you have to learn how to, you know, get calm and go to sleep. We think that all humans were born knowing that, but no, we actually learn how to get to that point where, okay, I'm tired. I need to lay down and go to sleep and recharge. That takes knowledge. And kids are not born with that. They actually have, here's something they don't tell you. They have to learn how to rest. And until you learn that they have to learn, it's gonna be like a challenge to put them to sleep. And you're tired too. And then you get so stressed out that you might not deal with the situation in the best way. So I studied so much for the labor that I forgot to study for what happens next. And my first challenge on the first week or something was like, oh my God, it's almost midnight. This kid doesn't want to go to sleep. What do I do? And I tried everything. We sang songs. Um, I nursed it. I did everything. But by that time, Mahina, my first baby, was so tired because she didn't get a nap during the day that she didn't want to sleep. Like, you know, when you're so stressed out that you can rest? Have you ever got to that point? Yeah, I think
Definitely.
everybody can relate to that. That's what happens with babies. I once believed that if she would sleep during the day, by the time she would get to the night, she would not be tired and she wouldn't sleep. And then after the first stressful week with a newborn, I started educating myself on having a baby too. And I'm just sad that I lost a week of not knowing how to deal with the situation, but I'm glad that I got to the point that I was like, okay, there's got to be studies about that. Someone have has been through this before, and they know what to do. So it was all about finding the right information about it. And I don't know what you think about that, Sean. Maybe you can share your thoughts, but I just knew one thing for sure. I didn't want to let my kids crying to sleep.
It took you a week. Just be glad it didn't take you 2 months. So you
Yes,
lament a little bit. Oh, it took me a week and I missed this week of sleep, but it could have taken longer. So
definitely, definitely. I thought I was like, after a week of not getting any sleep, I was like, this can't be it. There's got to be something I'm doing wrong. And I'm eager to learn. and the situation is screamed that I had to educate myself on having kids. Something I never thought I would have to, learn. And I thought it was something that you just hear advices from other women, blah, blah, blah. But no, because some women will have a way of dealing with it and others will have another. And that's all about parenting. You should look for information about the kind of parent you want to be. So that's what I did. And first thing I learned was that kids, they need a lot of naps. And I was totally wrong thinking that if they don't sleep during the day, they will sleep very well during the night. It's exactly the opposite. If they don't get their naps, they're going to be so stressed at night that they won't be able to sleep. So, first lesson here, things they don't tell you
That's
before
beautiful
being
advice,
parent.
Erica. That's beautiful advice. To follow up on that, if there's a new mom out there that's having trouble getting her baby to sleep, what would your advice be?
Get to know your baby. I think the first advice would be that learn with your baby. Learn to see the signs he gives you that they tired. I said he, but he or her. But anyway, get to know your baby. Look him in the eyes and know when they're tired because a mom knows. Sometimes you're running and you think you got everything under control, and you don't stop and just look at the baby. So after I read about the naps, I learned how to identify what I would like to call nap windows of my baby, which is the time they usually it's you learn that it's almost every day, more or less the same time they feel tired. It's usually after they have lunch, after they had their bottle or just nursed. Usually after eating something, they will feel uh, they will feel that they have to get a nap. It's a very exhausting situation for a baby to process food for the first time. And I'm talking about food, but even a baby that only drinks milk, but even before their 7 months, when they just breastfeed or drink their bottles, they processing milk and anything different from how they got nursed in when they were in the belly is something exhausting for them. So usually after lunch with my two kids, it was when they wanted to have their naps. And kids that are under 6 months, they will nap for more than one time during the day, like maybe three, four in the beginning, and then as they get older, they will nap less and less until it gets to the point where they don't nap anymore. It just goes naturally. But your role here as a parent is to identify those moments and then teach them, okay, here's a clear sign that you're tired. I think we got to take it easy now and speak in a lower voice and make the whole environment a little bit more comfortable for the kid to feel like, okay, this is a nice situation, nice environment for me to feel relaxed and rest. And so that's what I did. Whenever it was time for the nap, I would turn off the lights during the day and maybe sing a song. And then with time, it was faster and faster to get them to sleep, to get them to learn that they needed to rest, and to get them to learn that, okay, this is the sign that I'm feeling tired. So we got to the situation here at home when where Mahina will tell Gal, I think you're tired because you're very stressed. So I think you need to get some sleep. So it's so beautiful to see that, because this is the kind of thing I would tell her when she was a baby. And they listen, they learn very fast.
I love taking a nap, 20 minutes, about 2 in the afternoon, if possible. If that is possible, the 20-minute power nap is amazing. Now, if we're meeting or there's client meetings or if it's not possible, I think the human body actually has a sleep rhythm and you get tired about 10:30 or 11, you're more active and awake, and then you get sleepy between 2 and 3 in the afternoon, and then sometimes too I think it comes back around in the evening. Okay, we get sleepy around 8 at night, and then if you miss that, then you're up, it seems like to me. And so it's important for me to not fight the sleep, but to, just like what you're teaching your kiddos, to embrace that. Now, as an adult, we don't get to take naps every day, although I would.
Yes.
But it's certainly. I think a lot of times too, we power through that with an energy drink or a coffee or something like that, just to keep motivated and
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going and being productive. But when you're 6 months, there's no energy drinks for you, no coffee, so you gotta get some sleepy time there.
Definitely, Sean. That just tells me an essential point here that you made. We need to learn from babies too. You know, they are so evident when they need to get some rest, and we are too. But we just don't pay attention to it, or we try to get our bodies to, overcome that situation to be more productive. And what happens in the end, and then it's just that we're gonna be less and less productive if we don't listen to the signs of our bodies. Naturally, some people will just stop napping. But I kind of relate to what you said here. Like, most of the moments I struggle to calm down and go to sleep. That's why it was a challenge for me. I'm very active all the time, and I when I get to have some time for myself and just nap, it got to a point where I felt weird. Like, oh my God, I slept for hours and it was just 20 minutes. So imagine, like, we got to a situation in our society that when we stop and rest for 20 minutes, we feel guilty about it. So I think it's something we have to stop and think about it and understand why we feel guilty about resting. Our days, they we all get the same 24 hours, but it's not the same for everyone. If we think about how we deal with challenges every day, we all have different challenges. So that's why this podcast is something that we both had in mind. I think our main focus here is to make people, or try to um, give them the opportunity to get to know manifestation and manifest the life they want. My life definitely changed when I started manifesting. It was something that also started with motherhood. I felt more connected with myself. I felt that I still had a lot to learn. And having that time to stop and meditate, relax, even if I can't get my naps like you do, Sean, because I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this and that. I I think after meditating, I feel like I had a nap. So many times we meditated together. I was like, "Oh, Sean, it was almost. I felt like I slept a little bit."
When you have a nice meditation, your mind, it's the same as a deep sleep. And so it's meditation for those that have not practiced or don't really use the tool. It's something that's so amazing and awesome that you don't. I mean, you don't even need walking shoes. I mean, to
Yes,
walking is the easiest exercise. You don't even need walking shoes to meditate. So
my
it's
God, yes.
something that is really useful and indefinitely to lend clarity and different things like that. It's going back to one of the things that you had mentioned, Erica, is like we feel guilty about doing these things. And why is that? Number one, because of societal norms. You got to work hard, and if you don't do that, well, you're just not living up. But if you're tired, how are you going to work productively? Yes, you may be like like the human that just doesn't stop, but at some point your body, at some point your mind has to recharge.
Yes. I don't think it's for nothing that we have generation of, um, a generation of people who are dealing with anxiety. And I think that those demands from modern society is what made us get to this point where we feel guilty about getting rested and recharging. Like even our phones were machines, they have to stop and recharge at some point. And we're not even machines. So we we need to start this counter movement of reconnecting. And I thank God for motherhood because I can't think of another way of learning this, um, about being more sensitive to the signs of my body and how nature demands that we rest. And even what I mentioned before, looking at my kids and learning their signs, that's something you can't do if you're running all the time. Um, so, one of the best things that remote working gave to me, the opportunity to learn about myself, my kiddos, and to listen to the signs of my body. Um, I think the greatest problem we're gonna have in future generations is dealing with anxiety, and one of the greatest challenge that parents are gonna have in the future is definitely gonna be technology. And I don't mean that technology is a harm per se, but the way we deal with it, with no boundaries, with no time to, just go for real life and connect to nature. That's what I value nowadays. My connection to nature, um, be it like my nature or the environment per se. Um, I think that back in my days, like I'm a 90s kid, and back in my days, we didn't discuss a lot the issue of having your kids watching TV all day long and stuff like that. Because even if we wanted the kids to watch TV all day, there wouldn't be cartoons in the TV all day long. Nowadays, if I wanted my kids to spend 24 hours watching Cartoon Network, I would be able to. All I would have to have was a computer, not even a TV. Like then I would connect to Netflix or anything like that, and it's all day long entertainment, very vibrant colors, everything. Just like in marketing, everything is programmed and thought about with the intention to make your kid never leave the screen. So what I try to do here at my place is connect the kids with themselves first. And like I value a lot of the time, the free time that we have to play with each other and just look at each other's eyes and learn,
Yep.
pretending, like letting your imagination flow. This is how kids learn. How do they learn? Do they go to school and read what the teacher writes? No, they don't know how to read yet. Okay, Mahina does, but she's an exception. But usually kids learn from playing with each other. And if we let the TV teach them what is important in life, all they're gonna learn is vibrant. The world is very vibrant. You um, like you don't know how to deal with boring times. You don't know how to regulate yourself when you're feeling frustrated, because all you get from cartoons nowadays, when you're just a lot of time in there and you're not playing outside is vibrant colors and a lot of information all the time. Everything's so vibrant, everything is made to keep you there, and so the hormones of satisfaction in your body will be high all the time. So when you go outside and you don't see vibrant colors, or if something goes wrong, or you have to wait for this and that, you're just anxious because you don't know how to deal with frustration, you know?
And there's also separation anxiety from the device. If the little ones are sitting there on the device for 18 hours a day and then they're separated from it, that's a cause of anxiety. Also, so
Exactly.
many colors, the strength of the screen time, it can build on itself into a situation where the child is at a disadvantage.
There are ways because nobody wants their kids to be digitally excluded. So I'm not saying, oh, just break all your TVs, throw them all your cell phones out. No, we live in a world that is immersed in technology. So you have to find a way to first learn as an adult how you regulate yourself with technology, because sometimes we talk about the kids but we don't know when to stop either. Like if you go to Instagram you can spend hours just rolling down. TikTok is even worse. It makes you like just spend hours of your precious day looking at things that you might not even be processing with your brain anymore because you're just there, you know.
Such an interesting world we live in, Erica, because someone that's, say, my age in their 50s, we had a childhood where we had TV and you could overwatch TV as a child. But for the most part, we went outside, we got sunshine, we saw green grass, different things like that. And then technology was an adaptation instead of being immersed in technology and adapting to the outside world.
Oh my God, yes. It's the other way around nowadays, right? And it's
Definitely.
we. I think our generation was the last one that had a childhood that was used to go outside and play, you know, and we didn't have to educate ourselves in regards to TV, because even if our parents were crazy about TV and they would leave us watching it all the time, it wouldn't be interesting for us all the time, because at some point there would be news and maybe something about, you know, not a cartoon because kids want to watch cartoon, you know.
News, yuck. Let's go
News.
outside and play.
Yes, exactly. So I remember there was this time in the morning when we all stopped and watched the cartoon in what seemed to be forever. But nowadays, I know it was only 1 hour. So 1 hour a day, we would stop and watch a cartoon, and then the cartoon would give us um, ideas to go and play outside. So this is healthy, okay? It's something that you're not doing 24 hours of your day, and the only interaction that you get is actually with a screen. You are getting some stimulus, outside stimulus, and that's something you can benefit from, because a cartoon can also be um, something that will educate your kids in a nice way if you choose the right ones. But even
Definitely.
the right ones shouldn't be the ones educating your kid. So, what we do here at home, um, we established that every Sunday will be cinema time. So, I bought, oh my God, something that changed in my life was a popcorn machine, and it's very, yeah, it's excellent, Sean, because it's electric, so you don't have to be there cooking. And did you do that the same way back in the days in the US? Popcorn would be like in a pan and you would have to be like this, you know
So
uh
when I was growing up, you had the popcorn came in like a pan and it had a little cover on it. And so you
Ah,
would put the
okay.
pan of popcorn on the stove and it would start popping and
Oh
start
my
doing its
God.
thing. And so
I know.
then we got a microwave. And then the microwave popcorn was popular, but between that, we had a air popper. And so the you put the microwave in, it's like a hair dryer. It was never burnt. It was
Oh my
always
God.
perfectly popped
That's the one
popcorn.
I have.
Oh, that's the one. That's technology that's still useful.
It's healthy because you're not using oil or anything like that, and it's fast, and you don't have to be there doing it. Back in my days, it was like the way I'm telling you, like a pan. You put the corn inside, and you're there for hours, and you make sure that it doesn't burn. But I saw that one that you mentioned once on Panic, the movie. Remember? Uh, yeah. So
It's-
so where I was always asking, is that how they do popcorn there? Oh my God, that's so interesting. Like you put it in the oven and it starts popping. Um, but then one friend I shared an apartment with back in my single days. She was like, Erica, I bought this popcorn maker and it's just the best thing in your life. Just make sure you get one. It's like 70 reais, and 70 reais is like what, Shawn, in dollars?
like $12.
$12. That's nothing, you know. And then I bought one, and it was really a revolution because, one of the times during the day when you're feeling like, oh my God, I need to eat something tasty, but I'm on my diet right now, and I don't want to eat something very caloric. So I would go and get a popcorn, and it was fast, it was delicious, and I felt like I was breaking the rules, but I was really not because it was really healthy at the same time. So
Hot,
I have the
crunchy,
same
salty.
popcorn. Yes, and I have the
Yep.
same popcorn to those days, and it's just like uh, an extra hand with the kids. They love popcorn, so we make the cinema days on Sunday in family, and we gather everybody here in the house, and we're like, okay, um, we're gonna start the cinema now, and there's popcorn. It became like a routine. They know for sure that every Sunday we're gonna have our cinema time, and that's smart. And I'll tell you why it's smart, because whenever they are having a tantrum because they want to watch this movie or just watch cartoons, and we know they can't at that moment because of their sleeping routine, it's too late to watch movies or anything, we're gonna be like, you know that cinema days is on Sunday, and we can watch that on Sunday if you want to. And they know for sure that we're gonna do it. And so all the tantrums about TV or being addicted to, that doesn't happen here anymore because they know that on Sunday we're gonna watch it together, and it's gonna be a nice time in family. It's gonna be a memory.
And you mentioned just the most important part about that. They're not just in a screen, they're with their family and they're
Exactly.
having family time, together time. And that's beautiful right there. Even more important than the movies, you'll enjoy the movies, but eventually you don't think about the movies as much as, oh, I was there with mom, I was there
Yeah.
with dad, I was there with my sister, with my brothers, and we were just hanging
Exactly.
out. It was a really great, calm, and peaceful time.
Exactly, Shawn. You were on point about this because I remember back in the days when I was a kid, one of my favorite times was to gather the family, and technology was not that, you know, good over here in Brazil. So all the movies would get here a lot later than in America. Not everyone would have the best TV ever, but even if the TV was very simple and the all the graphics were not that good as the ones that we have nowadays, it was such an amazing time to have my family together. I remember, I want to see if you remember this. I remember the first time I watched Jurassic Park. One, the best one. The first one was the best, definitely. And it was a happening in my family because we were all, oh my god, they are showing dinosaurs in there, and it's like they're moving, and it's an excellent movie. We're gonna have a blast watching it. And I remember to this very day of the scene of the kiddo counting to five, and then the electric would be turned on, and he would be like, five, and we laughed so much about it. It's one of the best memories I have from my childhood, watching it together with my family and laughing about that scene. I still remember it. It's been more than 30 years. I'm 37 now. I think I was seven or six when that came out. So
Jurassic Park was a movie that was really before its time. We sit and
yeah.
now look at the technology with AI and all the graphics that are available. That was just groundbreaking.
Oh
That
my
was,
god.
that was next level when it comes to movie making. Yes, that was something. There was a buzz about a
That
Jurassic
was.
Park and the effects and just thinking about the technology. Okay, there's a mosquito that came from the dinosaur age, and with the technology, we were able to clone these dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Wow. From the marketing point of view, that was really a way to make a buzz.
Yes. Like I remember to this day the feeling, the excitement. Okay, this movie just came out from the United States, and they're using a lot of. We look back and we're like, how did they do it in the 90s? Like, oh my God, it was. It became really one of my favorite movies ever, and just to share a special moment that is probably in my mind forever, because when I watch the movies with my kids nowadays, it's just like I remember it takes me back to that exact same moment when I was with my cousins. We're almost the same age, and we are all amazed. And back in the days, I was a child. I thought like, oh my God, one day this is going to be possible. We're gonna have real dinosaurs, and I don't know what about what the kids have about dinosaurs. They just love them naturally. It's just crazy.
Even the little toy dinosaurs, every child wants dinosaur toys.
Why? I always asked myself that, but I remember being a child and being crazy about dinosaurs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, Erica, what you were describing with your watching Jurassic Park with your family is a your happy home moment. You were gathered around, you were with your family, you were in a comfortable space. That was, maybe we just coined a fun phrase, a your happy home moment. And so I can't wait, number one, to hear more of your happy home. Also, to hear other people's stories, other people's happy home moments, because that is, if we think about it as we go through life, these memories that we have, these moments that really we recall and go back and think about, they're really, really important.
Yeah, definitely. Which takes me back all the time. I know the little details of that moment. I remember it was probably July, and it was a little bit chilly, and definitely July because the only time of the year it's a little bit chilly in Brazil is July. And it was just so comfortable to sit there with a blanket and watch TV and have popcorn with my cousins, and all the adults reunited and watching us watching it. So it was a great moment. Like I remember it with affection. What gave me an idea right now? Like if you're listening to us and you have your happy home moment to share, please share it in the comment sections. I'm glad me and Shawn. I'm sure me and Shawn are gonna be glad to, read your experience, and maybe that will give us nice ideas with the kiddos too, what really, when you think about your childhood, what moment stays in your mind? What moment stands out from all the memories? And it doesn't have to be like something extraordinary, just like a routine scene that just makes you go back and cherish that moment. So I would like to know if you have your happy home moment to share. Please go to the comment sections, and we'll be glad to read anything that you have to share with us.
Thank you, Erica. And if you're listening and you enjoy our conversation, do like and subscribe. We really appreciate that. This is a brand new podcast, and I know Erica and I, or I speak for both of us if I can, we are so excited to share some of these stories, share some ideas on how to achieve your happy home moment. And what we share, maybe that is an inspiration and a reminder. Sometimes all you need is some popcorn and a blanket, and maybe it's a book. Maybe if you don't want some screen time, maybe I know, Erica, that you read to your girls quite often,
I do.
and you have a cozy area typically in your home.
Part of the sleeping routine. Then I read already in bed. I did a little. We put the books in a very accessible area where they can just choose every day. Like I have two daughters, they will choose one book each, and they will bring it to bed, and we'll read it together. As I'm trying to teach them English and in German, mostly German before English, because I consider German a very, very hard language to learn. And my kids are half German, so that's why I chose to begin with German. And then hopefully we're gonna get to English too, but I'm starting to introduce English too. So lately what was very like a strategy me and Vinicius shared with each other was like, I think it'll be a good idea to have the kids reading books in a foreign language, and then the way you interact with them while you're reading in a foreign language, because most of the parents must think, okay, I'm gonna read to them in a different language. They're not gonna understand. They are not going to have any interest in what you're reading, but it's totally the opposite. You start reading and they don't understand what you're reading at first, and then they're gonna be like, what is this, what is that? Curiosity is an engine that will make you learn faster. And so my kids are very curious, they ask all the time, and then it gets to a moment when they are not asking anymore, they are just surprising you with sentences in that other language. The other day, I was with Mahina and Gal at the beach, and we decided to go back home because, okay, so the public, all the audience, they don't know yet, but I live in Copacabana, very close to the beach, and it's easy for me and my kids to stop a little bit after a day where they've been studying and all the time, and then I'm also working, and then we want to chill out a little bit. We just walk 1 minute and we're at the beach. So one of the best decisions I made in my life was like, I want to live close to the beach a little bit, because for me it's what calms me down. So another piece of advice: live next to things and places that will make you feel great, that will make you reconnect with your inner self. And that's what the beach is for me. It could be a waterfall for someone else. It could be a river. It could be a place that is part of the childhood. For me and my kids, it's the beach. And I hope I could give them that feeling too, of this feeling great at the beach. the other day we were going back home because it was getting colder, and Mahina said, um, "Es ist sehr kalt," and I was like, "What? Did you really say that?" And it's too cold in German, and it's exactly the sentence I read in the book. The book's called Mats and Frida, and they are talking about Christmas in Germany. And at some point, they are building a snowman, and the other character says, "Sehr kalt, Frida," and that's where she got that from. So I was really proud. I wanted to share this moment because it was like, oh my God, it so pays off, you know?
I still remember my mom reading to me when I was probably maybe 2, 3 years old. One of my earliest memories is just to sit and the kids' books are so well done with the pictures. The child can follow along, and then mommy or daddy is reading, and then if you read that book more than once, it's imprinting, and the Mahina and Gal are in the age that you can learn so many languages. The mind is like a little sponge at that point for languages, it seems. So hats off, and congratulate yourself on not one, not two, three languages, maybe four languages. Be very proud. That's awesome. That's a great accomplishment,
Thank you, Sean.
and something that your kiddos will appreciate their whole entire lives.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. Hopefully, like my biggest fear was that, some brains are not very much for languages. Mine was. And I could only hope that their interest for language would be more or less the same. I don't know if you can kind of build that interest in the kid. Probably you can if you start early, but I also believe in natural capabilities of being, like, for instance, to me, mathematics, it's not my thing, definitely. I'm not the best with exact sciences, but I just had to find what I'm best at, and that is social sciences. Learning languages was always a passion. That's how we met each other. I started working with you as a translator,
Yeah.
and I remember how many doors it can open for you. Like, there is a sentence from Goethe that says, "Learning another language um, is like getting the borders of your world a little bit further away." So that means your world gets bigger and bigger, and the kind of experience you're gonna have when you go outside and actually meet the world will be a lot different when you know the language.
Words build bridges or they build walls. And it's the same material, the same construction. And so with more words, with language, there's greater understanding. And I really feel and believe that. And we should all strive to be good communicators. We should all strive to understand one another. We may come from different countries, but we are all people. We have the same wishes, we have the same desires. We want to be good parents, we want to earn a good living, we want to provide for our families, we want to enjoy free time, we want to have some bit of abundance in different parts of our lives. When you go to, if you ever find yourself in a foreign country, if you make an effort to speak that person's language, if you're interacting with someone from a foreign country, they give you a lot of credit as,
Oh,
a
definitely.
person, especially Americans. Americans abroad are I understand, can be, other people are not super patient with Americans. I've always been abroad and been really had the opportunity to meet amazing people. But if you make an effort to communicate with someone, to understand someone,
Yes.
wow, what a difference.
Yes, we are a very receptive people here in Brazil. So The way we treat people from all countries, I think it's amazing. I think I learned that from Brazilians in general. We've never been like rude or anything like that with people uh, coming from abroad. Like we feel actually honored that they chose Brazil as their destination and learning about us and about our culture. We feel honored most of the time. Um, and so it's something that Brazil taught me throughout my life. Of course, not always traveling, you'll find good people. But I can tell from my own experience, 99 of 99% of my experience was positive going abroad and showing interest in their language, showing interest in their culture, trying to learn a little bit more from them, or showing them, okay, I read that you like this or that. Oh, I read that this place is really amazing for your people. Can you take me there? In their own language, it makes a whole lot of a difference. They will be very receptive. Even the coldest nations you want to go to, they are gonna be open to your curiosity. They are gonna be nice to you if you just make the small effort of showing that you're eager to learn, you know? So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And it all begins in the home. If we aren't as lucky as Gal and Mahina to learn a language earlier, that's so, once you're advanced in age, you really got to be good with language. You've
oh,
really got
yes.
to be passionate about it. Milena, my wife, is English is her second language, and she's come so far and speaks so well. But you're always going to have a language you think in, and if you can challenge yourself to learn that other language, I think it's worth the effort. Obviously, usually a reason. For in my instance, it's love to make it better. I'm a student of Spanish. I won't say I'm fluent in Spanish, but I've
Yes, you
learned
are.
some few words, and it's fun and satisfying. It's to me, it's like a puzzle. It's like a treasure map, and we've decoded this, and we've communicated, and we've connected. What a gift!
Yes, Sean, the feeling that the other person understood what you're trying to say, like it's like you decodified a whole enigma, and that person is saying, yes, you did it, you decodify it, and this is the answer back. It's such a rewarding feeling to communicate, to even communicate in a foreign language. To me, it means the world. I feel really blessed because it's also a privilege to be able to study foreign languages, especially in a country like Brazil. Not everybody will have access to that kind of education. So, being the child of multi um multinational family, this was a little bit easier for me. But it was also something that I think I was born with. I was always curious about how other people live in different. If I weren't born in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, would I behave the same? And you kind of answer this question every time you learn a foreign language because you get to feel like a different person when you do, sometimes even your voice tone changes when you're speaking a different language. And I tend to absorb a lot of information from people from everywhere in the world. I try to be as comprehensive as I can get, and being understood is just rewarding. And I have this piece of information too. It takes your experience when you travel for fun, for tourism, for whatever reason you're gonna travel for. Be sure that learning a foreign language or even learning some words like if you're traveling to Brazil, learn to say bom dia, which means good morning. And I'm sure we're already gonna be like, oh my god, the person knows it. They are trying to communicate in my language. I feel honored. I want you to learn more. I'll take you here and there. You know what, you can go. It's gonna be a great experience for you. It's like breaking the ice in a very smart way, in a way that the other person will admire you for the effort, you know? So
Definitely.
we all know that you didn't have to, because the borders are here, they exist, but humans should be able to travel and get to know where they live. We are all living in the same earth, and sharing our culture and experience is just rewarding as a human being.
Definitely, Erica. In Brazil, which is a very has a very large population and is geographically dominant on the continent of South America, the United States. Very large population, geographically dominant in North America. It's real easy to not learn a different language because so many people speak the same language, and there may not be a necessity, but as a human, as someone that me as a human that wants to connect with other people, with their food, with their language, with their culture, and it's really a fun thing. It's really fun and rewarding.
It's amazing, Sean. Last time I went to Italy, I'm gonna share this really quickly. I went to Italy and I was, certo, vogliamo imparare un po' di italiano? I was always passionate about Italian. So it was something that I learned for no reason. I was just passionate about it. I think Italy has an amazing culture. I think the food is amazing. I also wanted to learn about food. I think we can make an episode about Italy too, you know, about places we visited and how they live in those countries. And, you know, I know I would have a lot to share, and know you too, Sean. But Italy was, it has always intrigued me. And so I decided to learn Italian, and it was kind of hard to convince my parents because they were like, "Oh, okay, why you're learning Italian? Why not French? It will be more useful for you." But Italian was just my passion. I think it's enriching for me in my existence to know a little bit of their culture. And even for me as a Latin woman, someone who speaks Portuguese being a Latin language, I love to learn a little bit of the um, ethnography of the words, where they come from, what were their original meaning, and how they evolved to something new, to a different meaning. Uh,
Evolved.
Evolved. Sorry. um, so what I when I went to Italy for the first time, and I went by myself because, you know, I wanted to be that girl who goes, who travels and gets to know the world. Um, I I made friends just by trying to speak Italian. And in the beginning, my accent was horrible, you know. So they really made an effort back then. If any of my friends will watch me in the future, thank you so much for what you did with my Italian, because it was really awful in the beginning. But they were patient, and they were so glad I was, you know, trying. And it just took me, it took my experience to a whole different level. Like it went from gentrified, touristic level to real Italian experience. You know, diving into their culture, the way they behave, what they talk about, what do they laugh about, what do they eat, what is getting them together around a table every day, in the afternoon, you know. So it was an experience that got me when I got back to Brazil and I was thinking about the whole trip. I was like, my trip would be definitely, definitely a lot different if I didn't do the effort to, try to communicate with them in their language. I would be just excluded and just one more tourist in that situation. And it's okay if you just want to be a tourist too, but in my case, I wanted to dive deep into their culture, and that's what I did.
It's very interesting the history and the culture of Italy, of Rome. Rome is one of my favorite cities. I've been twice, and it's just really it is the eternal city. I mean, there's so much.
It
You
is.
drive by, buildings that have been, in existence for over 2,000 years. And I guess if you drive by on your motorcycle every day, it doesn't mean as much. But when somebody comes from another part of the country or another part of the world, and you see the architecture, the people, and the food and the weather and just the countryside, it's a special place. It's a very, very special place, and I'm sure that the happy home in Italy looks very similar to the happy home in Brazil. Looks very similar to your happy home here in the United States. It's a place where people gather. I enjoy in Italy the smallness of the rooms and the homes, and that gets people outside. If you're you're living in Rome, you're living in an apartment that might be 500 years old.
Oh my
Um,
God, yes.
and so got people out in the square, in the piazza, and everybody. I always was really amazed in my time. Oh, it's Tuesday, it's midnight, and so many people are outside laughing and talking and eating and
Yeah.
socializing, and it's really interesting how each different culture finds their happy places.
Definitely, Sean. That's where I connect with Italians. We're like that here too. Like trying to keep it, to keep it very social all the times and enjoying life. Just being able to stop and do the dolce far niente, which is like a philosophy that is amazing, amazing. Um, and we naturally do it in Brazil, but we didn't have a name for it. So I had to travel to Italy to discover the way of life, the lifestyle of knowing how to do the dolce far niente. It's an art.
Would you say, I think the La Dolce Vita or La Vita Dolce? How would you say that
Yeah,
in
the dolce far niente. It's like the sweet doing nothing.
Sweet Doing Nothing?
Is
We
there anything
Americans
more Italian than
could
that?
work on that.
Yes, yes. Sometimes you just so in modern society and trying to be productive all the time. We were talking about that with napping just now and relaxing and knowing your body. Italians, they already know that. They already know they need their dolce far niente at least for a few hours during the day. And Spanish people know that too with their siesta, and it's institutionalized. If you're in Spain at 1 p.m., nobody's gonna be working in their business. The business are gonna be closed for a certain hour or so, and then after they got their siesta, they'll be back to work because they know this is important.
Me. I could just fall right into that rhythm. And it's I think, part of it in Texas where it's hot, I mean when it's hot in the summertime it's hot. So we have air conditioning. We've controlled the climate. In other parts of the world where we're not as air conditioned, maybe you want to take a little rest during the hot part of the day. I think the siesta came from let's get out of the sun, rest a little bit, and then pick back up after it cools off. mean,
Yeah.
there's a structure to that. It wasn't just, oh, it's 2 in the afternoon. Let's go take a nap for 2 hours.
Definitely, definitely. I understood it as a way of, we just had lunch. Uh, our body needs time to process that information, and um, the art of sitting down and eating your food, a well done food or homemade food, it's something that they value the most. To just have that time with your family, to stop and sit at the table and enjoy a nice meal together, you know, and then resting from it, because you're not just eating um, something quick to just put food in your body. You're enjoying it, and all the nutrition your body's going to receive, all that um, information it's receiving from the food, your body knows that it needs time to process it all. So they are the kind of people who respect that, and I respect that the most too. um, I respect people, Spanish people, for doing that. This is amazing. This is an amazing value to have, like um, no money in the world will make me stop doing that and respecting my body.
It's an investment in time for yourself.
Definitely, definitely. And Italians have it, but just in a different philosophy. It could be any time of the day. The dolce far niente is just knowing how to enjoy life and cherish the moment with your loved ones. So it's the kind of philosophy that you only learn when you try to, show the effort to understand a little bit more about that culture. So I'm sharing this as something that might touch someone listening to us today. Uh, Sometimes it's the small things you do during your day and knowing how to stop and relax. That's something that unfortunately we got the point that we have to learn how to do it. Um, and I think it's when you get to the point where you give yourself the right to stop, relax, enjoy, have a nice glass of wine, um, look people in the eye, talk about a subject that you like to talk about. It's it's where you build memories.
Beautifully said, Erica. Very beautifully said.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Erica, what if we wrap up this very first episode of the Your Happy Home podcast? I think we coined a term today, Your
Yeah.
Happy Home moments. We talked about several of them, and it's been really, really wonderful and fulfilling for me to have these moments with you, Erica. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And what makes your home happy? What is a share some of your happy home moments? Where would where would you like us to think about a conversation in the future? Give us your feedback. Give us your thoughts. Erica, do you have any thoughts? Any final words?
Excellent. I would just like to thank everyone watching this today. I hope I could share a little bit of my experience as a mom, as a traveler. I hope to have more conversations like this. The time just flew by, and what I'm most eager to see here is like the comment section, like you just mentioned. Want to see everybody participating and telling us what they would like to hear in the next episodes. Um, I think I can speak for you too, Shawn, when I say that we want to make this interactive. We want to touch you with the themes we're gonna bring, and tell us what you would like to hear from us. Share your thoughts. Let us know what will make you feel more comfortable when you sit down and relax and watch us talking about. And we're definitely gonna make all the effort to bring up all those subjects and discuss them a little bit with you, Shawn, and with you, the audience. We are here to share and cherish moments. And tell us if you know how to have your dolce far niente during your day. That's something that I would like to know from the audience too.
Even if it's just 5 minutes, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. Great time for a meditation as well.
Perfect. Yes, exactly.
Very much, very much. Erica, thank you. Thank you. Audience, thank you as well. And we will see you soon.